without further ado, let's begin. A little bit about me. I am an aspiring magician, and I am also an amateur musician. And then in my free time, I studied chemical engineering. I'm here representing the first commercial effort in Puerto Rico to do biochar commercially. But what I really represent is it's a group of extraordinary people that without them, I wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be here. And I just want to mention them. It's a great team with enormous determination and an admirable will. Bamboo to biochar. When I was invited, Christian shared with me that most of this audience are really knowledgeable on biochar and very much probably know way more than what I know about biochar. I've been inserted to this landscape a little over 3 years ago. So as I was preparing for this and what to share with you guys, I could decide to speak about the feedstock, the bamboo as a great feedstock, the micropores, the mesopores, the macropores that makes it a great candidate for creating and transforming it into a high quality biochar. We could focus in parameters, pyrolysis, and a lot of details about technical aspects of our operation. But instead, I decided to go through another route and share with you some 3 aspects in particular that I believe placed a great deal of contribution for this project to gain traction. Some of these aspects might seem either intangible or abstract to some people, but in our experience, these aspects were paramount for us to propel our company and make it, from the ground zero, from having nothing to accomplish great things. So the first aspect I want to touch is about finding your story and how do you present that story of your project. By the way, I decided to do this because perhaps in this group of people, there are some of you that are either starting a biochar facility or are in the process of, moving up a startup, or even you're already producing, and some of the takeaways of these aspects might help you. A great example of how important is the narrative, and kudos to Jacek Milewski, one of our partners. He's my mentor in biochar, and he also teaches us about the importance of the story. If you ask me, what do you do? And then if I answer, I facilitate cross-functional meetings to do assessments on manufacturing processes. Well, it's true, but also boring, right? It doesn't resonate. Or if you ask me, what do you do? And I answer, yeah, I conduct and assess processes. I do risk assessments. If I answer the what, it's not gonna connect. But if I answer, what do you do? And I say, well, we protect patients by assessing complex processes and finding out the weaknesses of those processes to deliver always good quality products, then the story sounds different. And Simon Sinek touched on this. Many people have touched on that, the importance of starting with the why, and how that why, you'll never find it from the first iteration. You have to continuously work on your story and evolve that story. What you're seeing here is where we are located. This is in the southwestern part of the Puerto Rico island. We decided on this location because, as you can see, we are in the middle of 2 rivers, and those snake-like images are giant amounts of Bambusa vulgaris, growing uncontrollably as a giant grass that it is, in the riparian zones of those rivers. So location of the plant was placed there for the abundance and proximity of the feedstock, and we can set the story just there, right? This was touching a little bit on the facts. The Bambusa vulgaris was most likely brought to the island by the Spaniards in the 18th century, and whatever the purpose of them bringing it, fast forward 200 years, and it became like a monoculture to the point of being an invasion as it grows so rapidly. And tropical climates, there was a study conducted by the USDA and published in the Tropical Ecology in the year 2000. They concluded that it was an invasion and growing and moving downstream of the river at a rate of 8 to 12 meters per year. And we could set up the story over there and stop, and it's a commending story. There's a grass that grows very rapidly, is sustainable. It's a good story to tell. But then again, as we continue to meet with local authorities, etc., we keep adding to that story and understanding that it's as important to the story, the benefits of the good biochar, the benefits of having the availability of a feedstock that no one is using and everyone is ignoring, but even more so that this feedstock is creating problems. It's accumulating. It goes down the river. It creates havocs on the bridges. It then forces the authorities to clean that and invest lots of money, and then some people, end up burning it, or whether it's malicious intent or by combustion that occurs in the dry season. We don't want it to burn. We don't want it damaging rivers, creating flooding. And then if the authorities bring it to the landfills, we also have a situation with the landfills being such a small island. Over 50% of them are not receiving biomass or don't want to receive biomass, and they get paid, they get told. So here we are with a feedstock that many ignore. It's in the back landscape. It's default for everyone. Everybody knows invades the roads, the power lines, but for construction it doesn't work. Vulgaris, for those who know bamboo, it's not a great product to build. It doesn't last long. So turning it into biochar and then tackling all this and combining all these elements of the story made a great and compelling justification for the project to be accepted by the community. We call it a platform technology. It's a multi-circularity enabler. And then we just, other than the benefits of the biochar that you all know, and all those cascading efforts, benefits that the biochar can promote, even in use 1, use 2, and use 3, we ended up even finding out that this region, the place where we decided to operate, was a giant axis of economy. It was an abandoned sugarcane facility. So the grandparents, the fathers of the people that are our neighbors used to work there. This facility operated for 70 years. Then it was abandoned. So I guess the first point that I really want to share with you is that when you adequately combine all this story-related aspects of your project, you then tap into inspiring, and that's when the magic things start to happen. That's when companies on other continents pick up your story, like our good friends from Zurich that share our story in their annual report, or even more so. This is very close to my heart. Some students from the university in that town, that we're neighboring town, they basically have a connection with the Eureka site, and they, because I am an ambassador and I speak about our project to every person I see, they asked me if they could go to our site and start, blessing our operation with some drums. This woman right here is the mother of this guy playing the drums. So I hope what I'm saying is not far away from. I know this first aspect is not related to biochar, but it's more related to the importance of gaining the community's support. Because if you have the best technology and you have the best engineers, the best science, and the best equipment, uh, every project have internal risk, but also external risk. And if the community will not support you, uh, it's not going to fly. In the other side, if you have low funding, or if you are have different challenges, but the community embrace what you're doing, these guys and these neighbors are going to push you through all of the hiccups. Look at right there, what you're seeing is a local artisan that gave us this as a gift. This is little pieces of bamboo and a picture of the old operating former sugarcane facility. And La Eureka Prende de Nuevo means these guys are turning the Eureka back on. So second aspect, and I'm in a time here, what I call a resiliency success factor is understand your risks and document your risks. I'm just going to dedicate about 2 or 3 minutes to this, but it's very important to provide trust. Every project needs funding. Every project needs either loans or to get where you need to go. And that every industry operates by managing risks. So in a way, demonstrating that you understand your risks is demonstrating process understanding, and that you understand what you're doing. We touch well before starting the operation or even selecting our technology and our equipment vendors. We sat down cross-functional teams and assessed what are our most significant risks, operational risks, even risks to the product quality. So I guess if you're not doing that, or maybe you do it but only in the mind of the participants, come up with a simple tool. Reach out. I have tons of experiences assessing many different types of risks, and that will provide assurance, that will communicate, and most importantly, communicating that you understand your process, is that it helps you design your operation, and it helps you plan for the risk control mechanisms that you will need to have in place for business continuity. And the moment we proved that in less than 6 months, we rented acquired the land where we're going to operate, where we are operating. And a few months later, we got hit by a hurricane. It was in our risk portfolio, but it helped us. The risk assessment helped us navigate through that, and it validated our assumptions, improved our own business continuity activities, and it also validated that it was a great location. We had 28 inches of rain, which in one day it was completely drained. I guess the ones who created and placed that sugar cane there knew what they were doing. Now, the third and last aspect that I want to share with you is planning for an evidence-based operation. And I hope I still have at least 8 minutes, because this to me is, all of the before aspects are important, but data is king. Data-driven operation and data-driven compliance is just what will give not only trust, but it will give assurance that what you're doing is real, and that you have the proper evidence to back it up. I come from a highly regulated industry, pharma and biotechnology manufacturing. So in a way, that was great to add into the mix of our team, because I am accustomed to a high level of scrutiny when it comes to data integrity, and there's a very popular saying in that industry that what is not documented did not happen. So we don't have to apply that same high intense scrutiny for our operation, but we did our homework. And what I'm going to share with you here are this different unit operations. First, when it comes to harvesting operations, we use GIS technology to grab where are we getting that feedstock from, to plan our brigades, and to enable that today we harvest from point X. We know the growth of characteristics of the bamboo, so we know when to come back to that place several years from now, and slowly managing down the plain of the southwestern region all of this available bamboo. Then when it comes to the operation, for those of you who know software ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, one of our partners also brought into the mix his knowledge in these modules and software development capacity. So we put together a group of modules to track our manufacturing operation, warehouse operations, preventive and predictive maintenance, the training of the operators, even the sales, and all of these modules are integrated into one place. Why is this important? It's just as you produce your biochar, yes, you could do everything manually and you always rely on logbooks, etc. But if you plan from the get-go to have a place where you can get all that traceability of what you're doing, machine use, energy use, consumption, all of those aspects, and then the third one, the operation itself, the process controls. Our good friend Enzo, our automation guy, he built a software for tracking our operation, completely designed for our biochar operation, and this is another component that integrates with the ERP, and it creates what we're calling as a dynamic LCA. It's I'll say LCA plus, and again, I'm going to show you some screens of how we're doing this, but data-driven and data-driven operation, this was from the very early in the game, even before purchasing or procuring the equipment. We did bench scale data and large scale data. We cut bamboo, ship it down to an appropriate size, send it to different vendors, turn it into biochar, send those to the laboratory, and understood what are those critical attributes of the final product, and from there build back, right? It's a quality by design approach, relying solely on data, and with those pieces of data at our disposal, we would then say, okay, we have a decent biochar on our hands. This is what we're going to pursue, and this, what you're seeing here, is it's a screenshot of the GIS technology. We divided the maps in grids, and from this we can deploy brigades, and they know where to go. They have GPS coordinates of where they have to. Here we document the tonnage we're getting out. By the way, we're planning phase 1 flagship project to go a little over approximately when we hit our entirety of the shifts, we should be able to do approximately 7,000 tons of bamboo, maybe 3,500 tons of biochar per year, and in 12 months then duplicate with machine number 2. What you're seeing here is our ERP, custom made for our operation, and you see in the left all these modules where we manage the sales, document all the invoicing in that financial part, but even more important than that, the inventory, the manufacturing, or all of the aspects of the production, then warehouse controls. I'm a big fan of documenting what controls you have and why you have them. And then all that basically end up pushing the information to what we call the life cycle analysis, self-reporting or dynamic LCA. It'll continue to be fed. For instance, we sell biochar, and the biochar is applied in X place for X application. We want to grab that. We want to have a survey 6 months after that, 12 months after that. If we can have data, scientific testing, even better. But we want to find out if you're using less water, what are the benefits that you're acquiring, and inject that into this dynamic LCA in a way supporting the ongoing throughout the life cycle of that biochar or of that carbon credit as well. And very proud also to show you that we collect data every 15 seconds of the entire process, of the critical process parameters, critical parameters that we control, and this is live data that we collect, and then we analyze it. It's not something that we analyze like after the fact. This is something that happens as we are operating. It's live monitoring. It also connects, right, with these attributes that I want to get at the end with the parameters that I am controlling. And then with time, this software will help us apply some machine learning and hopefully maximize the characteristics that we are pursuing, in combination with the attributes of the feedstocks that's going in, and the parameters and temperatures and all that fun stuff that you guys know, residence time, etc. And usage for the purpose of our LCA, how much propane we're using, etc. So very close now to 4 minutes to the time I had. I just want to give you a glimpse on the great team backing me up here. These are the group I told you about at the beginning. A great combination. Jacek, many years of experience. He's the vision maker. He's the one who teaches the roadmap and biochar. And we have Claudio, an expert in feedstock and particularly bamboo. And then Edwin, Janelle, Enzo. Without them, this couldn't happen. And I guess to close is what these three aspects, which I'm going to repeat: the importance of the story, the narrative and how you build it, the importance of adopting a risk-based approach and understanding your risks, and lastly, relying on data and aiming for a data-driven, science-based operation can really propel you, and as it propelled us to bring something that in an island where 9 out of 10 people would probably not know what the word biochar means, and in 3 weeks change something from like a flat to something that looks like a proper manufacturing operation. And we're only in the beginning. We're going to continue growing. We're going to duplicate and turn this into a 24/7 operation with the support of the community and transforming the local economy, the regional economy of the southwestern area of the Puerto Rico island. So with that, I thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I would attempt to answer in the best of my knowledge.
Thank you very much, Jonatan. That was a creative way of presenting the project. And if there are any questions, please write into the chat right now. So to me, that looks like a very advanced operation. So are you operational already?
Yes, yes, sir. We started. The equipment landed in the island early January 2023. From there, and many challenges, but a little later in February, we started doing experimental batches. We started doing some heating sequences on the pyrolyzer, and by the first week of March, we were already operational and getting great quality biochar out and sending it to laboratory. I guess you know, rudimentary at the beginning, but backed up with real data and real science. And to me, that's what I would like to communicate and convey. If there's anybody else out there, work on your data, because at the end of the day, you cannot defend what is only verbal, right? You may have a great product, a physical product to present, but the data behind it is what really sells and communicates and conveys trust. And this marketplace and industry, especially the carbon credit side of it, I have come to the conclusion that there is skepticism, and you destroy that skepticism by bringing evidence-based data of what you're doing, and that's pretty much what we set up ourselves to do from a very early stage.
And then following up from that, because you have this very advanced system, it looks like, of monitoring your whole operation. So is that something you are now trying to license also somewhere else? I mean, I understand it's custom based, obviously, but you will have a basis that you can reuse more or less. So is it a plan, or?
Absolutely. And this is a result of building great teams. As I said in my presentation, I brought some of the pharmaceutical experiences, but we have people very talented in software development. The technology is from our good friends. The pyrolyzer is from our good friends in Iowa, ARTI. But then the software that we are utilizing to track all these operations is custom made. And absolutely, if anyone, I mean, we are finding out that this can absolutely help many other people. So why keep it to ourselves? It's a vertical that we did not forecast, but it's something that is real. There could be operations out there relying on paper, relying on handwriting, and you maximize the value of what you're producing, regardless of the economic application or regardless of the economic activity you're doing, when you present evidence of what you're doing. So I invite you to contact us. You have your phone number, emails. There's a growing amount of people getting an interest on how we are putting together this self-feeding reports about the operation, the consumption, the energy, because it then would even further expedite all these auditing processes and third-party visits. Imagine, and this is I envision, it's not fair if you go and visit a plant and you take a snapshot of that moment. Two things can happen. You could get a mirage of what is happening. The auditor could get like a show, and then when he goes out, it's different. It's another story. Or it could be negative for the producer when the auditor sees something and is not convinced because they lack some of the portions that the auditor is seeking. But imagine if you could tell the auditor, I'm going to give you a username and a password, and 3 months from now, all you need to do is connect your credentials, and I'm going to provide you access. Obviously, I'm going to determine what I let you see. They are things that are proprietary, and I want to keep it to ourselves, but he could track what is happening. He could see the progress and the different batches that are coming out without flying out there. And we saw that a lot in the auditing process during the pandemic. The regulated industry and regulatory bodies around the world started to deploy e-audits, right? Auditing you from away. And I think this is a great vehicle, that what we're building is a great vehicle to maybe attempt that too.
Yeah, and I think it also fits nicely with what you saw before, that the industry, at least in Europe, is becoming mature. And I think auditing systems will play a big role, especially in the future. So if any of the audience members has a need, so please contact Jonatan. And there was only one technical question. So what moisture content are you using of the bamboo?
Sure. I would say we're aiming between 10% and 30% in the inputs going in. The bamboo is a very dry feedstock, so it's something that we needed to play a little bit, because it would raise the temperature on the pyrolyzer so quickly, and the pyrolysis chamber would go up faster than all of the forecasts, and that's when we realized, okay, we're having an incredibly dry material. But in the other hand, it turned out to be a great positive too, because we're utilizing very low amounts of propane gas in that initial heating up of the process, which was not, even the manufacturer of the machine was not foreseeing that. Let's put it that way. He estimated an amount of minutes of heating up with gas, and we're doing like 15% of the calculated time, and we're achieving good temperatures to turn that off and continue with the internal heat of the material itself.
So you find the right feedstock for that. Unfortunately, there's not so much bamboo in Europe here, or fortunately, maybe. Seeing what it does in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, no, we have abundant plenty, and I can tell you, the gentleman before me, which, by the way, learned a lot from him. Thank you for a great presentation. We're not even close to hitting a bottleneck on feedstock, even though if you see the map, Puerto Rico is very small, but we're only tapping into less than 10% of the available one. And we're learning and refeeding our risk portfolio to duplicate, triplicate, and go machine 2, machine 3, strategically located in parts of the island. But once we get to that bottleneck in the island, we are already seeing outside of the island and locations in Central America, South America, as bamboo is such a fast-growing grass. This could be a great opportunity and it's a high-quality biochar. I don't know if you guys got a glimpse on some of these results that I showed. It's a good biochar, as it is evidenced by the testing and analytical results of the final product.